I'm going to show you how I help a child start to say their first words. These are strategies that speech therapists use every single day, including myself, when a parent comes to me with their child because they're not yet saying their first words. These are some of the activities and exercises and types of play that I will do with their child to help them try to start saying their first words. These are going to be for children, like I said, who haven't said their first words yet, or maybe they've said some first words, but they're just not saying a lot of words and you're trying to help them talk more. It's not for children that are a certain age necessarily. It is primarily for toddlers, but not necessarily for a certain age, just for children that haven't said their first words or aren't saying a lot of words yet and you want to help them say more. According to developmental milestones, a child will say their first word by their first birthday, which may seem quick. So if you have questions or you want to know more about what to expect when it comes to your child's speech and language milestones, I have a completely free guide to speech milestones down in the description below. It covers milestones from 6 months all the way to when a child turns 5, so you will get the full picture and know exactly what to expect when you get that guide for free down in the description below. You're going to notice that a lot of the things I do, you could call them strategies, techniques, methods, whatever you want to call them, a lot of the things that I do not necessarily apply to a specific toy. So it's not about the toys that I'm using. You don't have to have the latest and greatest toy. You don't have to have a specific toy to implement these different techniques. It's really about how you use the toys, whatever toy it is, and how you're engaging with your child. So I'm going to show you more about what I mean. So let's just take this shape sorter. For example, this is one that I use all the time for children that come to me because they're a late talker, they haven't said their first words, or they just haven't said very many. And I do not use it to teach children their shapes or anything like that. You would think that, but that is not what it is used for at all. I like to think of this shape sorter sort of like a little trap of sorts. Like you're bringing the child to a toy, but in order to interact with it, they have to get your help. They have to interact with you. They have to look at you. They have to try to figure something out. There's so many opportunities for language because of that. And as you can see, it's also super, super repetitive. Like there's so many doors, there's so many things that open and close, you can shake it. These are just some of the reasons why something like this is a toy that I can use in speech therapy to teach a child their first words and to help them talk more. So I'll show you some examples of the techniques that I would use in speech therapy using the shape sorter in particular. So I mentioned repetition. Oftentimes when you hear repetition when it comes to speech therapy and teaching a child to talk, you're thinking you want to repeat certain words over and over, or just repeat words to help children hear them more. And that is true. But when I say repetition, I'm also talking about a repetitive play scheme. So it's something that happens in play over and over so that your child can start to understand what's coming next, or what will happen next, or what to do next, or what to say next in order to help them be able to start saying those words, or doing something like a baby sign, like asking for more or something like that, in order to make the play keep going, because they know what to expect. They know what to do in order to keep the play going. So practically what this would look like is you're going to just open each door. That's going to be the play scheme. At first, you may need to teach the child the words. You may be the one doing all the talking at first. That's probably what will happen because they're not talking yet. That's the whole point. So you may be saying a lot of this, but the whole time you're giving them opportunities to engage with you and opportunities to say the words as well. So the way that I would do this practically is I would take the shape sorter and we're going to knock on every single door. So knock, knock, knock. And then I'm also going to wait. I'm going to just wait and let the child look at me, give them lots of processing time, and also give them an opportunity to try to copy my knocking. Children typically will copy your gestures before they copy your sounds and words, so giving lots of gestures as well. Knocking is a gesture. I'm gonna knock, 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 knock. Oh no, and I'm creating a situation where, oh no, something's wrong, I guess we can't do it. What do we need to do? That's gonna elicit a response from them. If they're at the point in their development where they are engaged with people and they do want to play and they've gotten to that point in their communication development, then they're going to want to try to figure this out. They're going to try to open the door. And so you knock, 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 and then you say, and open. There's going to be certain key words that go along with every single toy. Knocking, in this case, knocking can go with a lot of other things too. Knock, knock, knock. Open, close, more, please, hi, taking things out, saying bye, putting them in. Those words go with so many toys, and that's why those words are really great to teach in your play and to teach as first words, because they get a lot of jobs done for a child, and so it's very motivating and functional for them to learn those types of words. So knock, open, and then lots of wow. Say wow for a lot of things. Wow, take it out. Wow, take it out. You could say hi to them, but then we're going to make the door go shut. We're going to repeat that a couple times. Shut. Bye-bye. Bye, door. So knock, open, out, shut, bye. And then we're going to close it. We're going to say turn, turn, turn. That's going to be another one of our words. And now here is a moment of time where I'm going to just wait for the child and see what they do. See if they try to keep it going. They may not if this is something new for them, but they might try to just open a new door. And that's sort of like their communication. So that's great. I want to bring attention to that and build off of that. So either way, regardless of what they do, I'm going to help them be able to get to the next door and knock, knock, knock. Maybe they've caught on to what's going to happen. So maybe they will start to knock too, because they know once we knock, oh, after we knock, then we open, then we get to take things out and play with them. Knock, knock, knock. And open. So lots of slow, lots of waiting time for them to try to catch on to the words. Saying the words with some high pitch and volume. That is auditory highlighting for a child to highlight the words auditorily. Take them out. Wow. Out. And shut. Bye-bye. Turn, turn. We're going to do the same exact thing. And I would do that all the way around it. You could also do some shaking. You could hand it to the child and see if they shake it. Again, copying your gestures shows that they understand the concept of copying. So if you can teach them to copy your actions and gestures, then they're one step closer to copying your sounds and your words. So then, after I've done it all the way around, all of these little pieces will be out. So I'm also not going to keep them all like within the child's reach. If I'm sitting crisscross on the floor with them, they're going to be in my lap, like where the child can't really see them or access them. And that's something that we would call withholding. And so I would do that so that the child can't just entertain themselves by themselves. In order to be entertained and have fun, they have to engage. And through that engagement is when they start to learn to talk. So I would have all of these, and that way I can do them one at a time. And when I'm doing the play and engaging with them with one item at a time, it also allows the child to focus more on what's happening, to focus on this item and to focus on me. Because if I can get their attention on me, then I can help them look at my face, look at my mouth, look at the words that I'm saying, and absorb that more than if they have other toys around them. They can just turn because, you know, they're having to do something in order to engage, and that may not be their nature. That's probably why they're not saying their first words yet. So if they can turn away and sort of just get into something on their own, then they're not having that opportunity to engage with me and to learn the words that go with what we're doing. So anyways, we're going to do these one at a time. And we're going to put them back in, except this time we're going to have some intentional sabotage, which is where you engage with the child with something that you know is not going to work, or you do something that's wrong on purpose to get their attention and to teach them words while you have their attention. So what this would look like is you're going to take one of the shapes and you're going to try to put it in. I would probably show them first what happens, because that's pretty cool. They like when something like goes in and then it disappears and it makes a cool noise. When it disappears, that concept is just very cool for a child. And that's why they like things like shape sorters. So I would show them, okay, we're going to put it in. And I have a song that I do whenever I put something in. I put it in, put it in, put it in. Every single time I'm going to say ready, set, go, push. So our words here are push. You can push just about anything. So it's a very motivating functional word for a child. We're going to put it in, lots of repetition there, and ready, set, go. I think that's just about it for the words that go with this one. Oh, maybe in, and then maybe like on top. And then also no, we're going to do lots of no with this. No is a very motivating and functional word for a child too. So yeah, then we're going to do more. So those are the keywords that go with this. And we're going to repeat them over and over and over, giving so many opportunities for the child to hear these words and to learn to say them too. So we're going to do more. Okay. Does it go here? No. Here? No. Does it go here? No. How about here? Yes. Ready, set, go. Push. Bye-bye. And we're going to do that all the way around until we don't have any more. Also, just want to tell you about some exclamatory words that are good to use with something like this, or really anything, but exclamatory words are some words that you can use to help your child learn to say words before they say actual words. So exclamatory words are words like wow, boom, knock, something like that. If you're like trying to open a door and it won't open, you can say zoom for a car. Doesn't really go with this one. All the animal sounds, those are like symbolic sounds and exclamatory sounds. And you can use those, like I said, as a bridge between just saying sounds, like speech sounds, single babbling type sounds, and true words. Those exclamatory words are a really great bridge between those, and a really great way to help your child learn to say some words, even if they're not true words for things in their daily routine yet. So speaking of exclamatory sounds and symbolic sounds, a lot of these sounds go with things like cars, trucks, anything that moves, and children, of course, love these. I like to use the little pullback cars because there's more action and ways that children can use them, and ways that we can integrate some words and some language development into the play with them. Of course, I would use the phrase ready, set, go with cars like this. And I'm going to say that phrase in a particular way. You may have noticed that before I say go, I allow some wait time. So wait time is an incredible tool that you can use with children who you're trying to help them say more words, because children do have an increased processing time. So if you give them wait time, it allows them to absorb what they've heard before, and then also to have a chance to respond, because they don't respond in the amount of time that we do. They have a longer processing time in order to say a word. And so they need that wait time in order to have a chance to say a word, to build their language and their speech skills. So I'm going to say it like ready, set, go. And maybe even wait more time than that. That's just an example. I also just want to tell you about how ready, set, go is a verbal routine. So a verbal routine is going to be a phrase that children hear all the time, and that's why they can pick up on these words more quickly. It's not just a phrase they hear all the time. That's not the only point, because they also hear like certain words like mama all the time, but maybe they're not saying that. A verbal routine is like a phrase that is said all the time, and it's a routine where they know what's coming at the end of the phrase. So like ready, set, Go, that's a verbal routine. It's a phrase that has a pattern and a routine to it. Again, the child knows what's coming at the end, so they can help fill in that last word. Another example of this would be like 1, 2, 3, or pika, boo. Different things like this. So lots of exclamatory and symbolic sounds that go with the cars. We're going to do vroom, vroom, vroom. We might make it go down the child's arm like a ramp and say, wee. Or we might pretend like the siren turned on and say, wee, woo, wee, woo. Lots of exclamatory symbolic sounds like that. And it's perfectly okay if the child just makes a sound or tries to say a word that's like close enough. Maybe it's not wee, woo, but it's ew or something like that. That is perfectly okay. So if you hear your child trying to make sounds and words that you know what they're trying to say, but it just doesn't sound perfect, absolutely bring attention to it. Absolutely give them praise for that. Copy what they're saying. You can copy it with the correct version of it. So if they say ew, you can copy back, that's right, wee woo, wee woo. That's what you should do with that. So when they say it incorrectly, don't ignore it. Bring attention to it and replace it with the correct word. Also with the cars, you've got beep, beep. You've got stop and go. Let's see, what else? You can always take the little tires and spin, 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 and stop. And then they might want to turn, so this is where you can do some turn taking and ask for more. Again, the repetition, their routine, back and forth, they know what's coming next, and that's what it's all about. If they know what's coming next, then that helps them be able to say the word because they've heard it so many times, and they know if they do that, then the play keeps going. Another thing that I always do in speech therapy is I start interacting with them and I start the exercises even before the play has begun. So when I show up and I've got my bag, the child helps me, oh, shake the bag. What's in this bag? They help me open the bag. They help me pull the zipper. I say pull, pull, pull. Take it out. The entire situation of getting toys out, taking them out of the box, all of that is part of how you can help teach them to say words in a very functional way. That's just like their daily life. In your daily life, you're constantly opening things, taking them out, different things like that. And so that's what the child experiences. So if you can help them learn words that go along with their daily routine and their daily life, that just gives them more reasons and opportunities to say these words and then to build on their speech and language skills and to learn more words. So that's why I do this. That's why it works very well. So I would take a box like this, and again, I'm going to do some intentional sabotage a little bit. I'm going to just put it in front of the child and wait for them to get engaged with it first. It's all about not filling in the gaps for them. Don't fill in the space for them. Allow them to come to you in a way. That's a way that you can think about it. Allow them the opportunity to have to do something. Doing something is communicating with you, engaging with you, participating with you. Those are all the foundational steps to saying words. Allow them to have to come to you and to try to grab it and open it. That's asking to open it with nonverbal language, like with their body language. They're asking to open it by grabbing it. So that's better than if you just brought it to them and opened it for them. That's you doing the talking and the participating for them. So allow them to come to you. Just sit there. Let them do something. Let them advance their skills in life. So if they come up and they try to open, you can say, oh, you want to open. Okay, let's shake, 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 and open. So that's another verbal routine that I use. Shake, 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 and open. Whether it's a bag or a box or anything like that, I shake it, and then we open for every single toy. So every single time I see a child, every single box or bag we open, they have an opportunity to say open. And saying open is one of the best words you can say if you're a kid, because that's where all the magic happens, and that's when you get to play with the toys. You may have noticed also that I pair so many words with actions, signs, or gestures. So every time I open, I'm showing them open, because I can't go up to them and put my hands on their mouth and make their mouth go open. but I can go over to them and put my little hands on their little hands and show them open. That's a way that I can very intentionally teach them how to do something and guide them through that to teach them the sign and the gesture of saying open. Because imagine if the child wasn't able to say open yet, but when I said shake, 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 and then they went open with their hands, that's communication, and that's a lot more intentional than just sitting there and doing nothing. So if I can teach the child to gesture open, then that's teaching them the concept of active communication, doing something with their own body to facilitate something else happening. That's what communication is when you're asking for something. And so that's just one step closer to them learning the concept of being able to use their mouth to communicate something by saying open when they want to open a new toy. So I also have a animal train set that I like to use, and you'll be able to see how I use these exact same concepts in a different toy here with the animal train. So I would start with this all the way in the bag. Everything's going to be totally put away in the bag, and I'm not going to get out the toy and set it up and then start playing with it with the child. I'm going to have everything tucked away in this bag, and I'm going to get out one piece, and I'm going to say, wow, and bring some attention to this. And then I'm going to show the child the bag of all the animals. They're already going to be interested in this. They're going to be trying to get in this bag already. So I'm going to say, shake, 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 and open. Open, pull. And I give them the opportunity to pull it. It's all about trying to transfer everything to the child. Help them pull, pull, pull. Here's a new strategy that I haven't mentioned yet. It's the strategy of giving choices. So when you give two choices, you are giving the child another opportunity to communicate by making a choice. It's okay if they don't make a choice and they just look at you. You just pick one for them, and then that's an opportunity to model the word for them. So it's perfectly okay if they don't do it the very first time or even the first several times. But you're going to give them the opportunity to do it regardless. Would you like green or purple? Another strategy is putting everything by your mouth so the child looks at your mouth, because if they're looking at the toy, they're looking at your mouth if you put it next. So let's say that they reach for the purple one. You can say purple. Okay, you want purple. Let's put it on. Here goes our song again. They know what's coming. Put it on, put it on, put it on. Push. So this is actually kind of hard to put on. Sometimes the kids want to do it all by themselves, and so I give them the chance to do that, but then they realize that they're not quite able to put it on by themselves. So that's an opportunity to ask for help. Help is another key word that I use a lot. And then we have to put an animal in. So then I can give them a choice of the two animals. This is just one way to interact with this. There's a lot of different ways. Give them two choices for the animals. Do you want the frog or the duck? And let's say that they want the duck. I'm going to say, oh, you want the duck. The duck says, quack, quack. So I'm going to show them first. I'm teaching them lots of repetition with the word and a symbolic or exclamatory sound for quack for the duck, and then combining the word or the sound with a gesture with my hand. Quack, quack. Then a verbal routine. The duck says, quack. Lots of repetition again and again. The duck says, quack. Every animal makes the sound the duck says, quack, quack. You don't have to sing the song. You could just do the verbal routine over and over. We're also going to say hi to the duck, a gesture that the child can learn to have some more intentional communication, especially if they're not gesturing a lot yet. Hi, duck. Oh, the duck needs to go in. Put it in, put it in, put it in. Oh no! The duck fell out. There's your intentional sabotage again. Uh-oh. There's your exclamatory sound again. Uh-oh is an exclamatory sound. What happened? The duck fell out. Oh no. Here's some relational play, another strategy that we use. Relational play is just like feeding a baby, doing things that teach the child relating to something else to try to boost their social communication skills, their speech and language skills. This is something that would happen to the child. They might get a boo-boo. They might say wah, wah, wah. Wah, wah, wah is another exclamatory symbolic sound. So back to the duck falling out, we can say, oh no, uh-oh, fell out. Duck's crying, wah, wah, wah. You can help the child, wah, wah, wah. So the duck needs to feel better, so we're going to blow the duck a kiss. Mwah! I'll give the child an opportunity to blow the duck a kiss. Mwah! And again, it's an action, it's a gesture, it's something the child can learn to do to have some intentional communication, possibly before they're able to put those words together. So I'm going to put it in and say bye-bye. The duck might even go all the way around and maybe we'll sing Old MacDonald Had a Farm or something like that. So we could do Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on his farm he had a duck, E-I-E-I-O. With a quack, quack here and a quack, quack there. Here, quack, there, quack, everywhere, quack, quack. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. Lots of repetition. I'm keeping the child engaged by making the toy go around me. They're wondering, what is she doing? Why is that happening? Why is she singing? But they're looking at me because I am singing and because that's fun. And music, songs, that's another strategy and technique that grab the attention of a child and help them learn the words that are used in the song. It also just helps to grab their attention, makes them more interested in what you're doing. And if they're interested in what you're doing, you're going to be able to teach them new things like words and saying words. So I would do that over and over and over again. These many strategies that I've explained today, repetition, wait time, intentional sabotage, verbal routines, music, exclamatory sounds, so many different ways of engaging with a child that help them be able to pay attention to what you're doing, get interested in what you're doing, and be able to copy what you're doing, engage with you, copy your actions, your gestures, and then be able to copy your sounds and your words. These are just some examples of how I would interact with a child in speech therapy, and I hope that it helps you be able to engage with your child in a way that hopefully helps them develop their speech and their language skills. Do not forget to get the free guide to speech milestones from 6 months all the way to 5 years old down in the description below. Please let me know what you would like for me to answer in the next video. Please feel free to leave your questions down below. Also, do not hesitate to reach out. And if you like this video, please go ahead and like, subscribe to the channel so that I can make more videos just like this to help you and your family.